Old Man Jip here with a post-cruise debrief on our recent cruise on the Disney Wish, which was a 4-day cruise. So what we spent. So the room was around $4,700 for my wife and I. That's a veranda. And this is ballpark. Prices are different, across the board. When we got to Canaveral, to the terminal, we live an hour away, so we had to pay about $107 for parking, which is pretty much the norm, right? Our onboard spending was a little high this time, roughly about $1,250. And that included, the activities such as the wine pairing, alcohol, and we did buy some stuff in the shops. Normally, my wife and I buy a new hat when we go on the cruise. This is like our 9th cruise. This was our 9th cruise. And then tips are included in your purchase. And then you have the option of giving additional tips. So this cruise, normally we tip everybody across the board, but we decided to only tip a couple of the staff that really made an impact on us. And one was our room attendant, stateroom attendant, Iggy, great guy. We threw him additional money in on top of the included tips. And if you get to the Keg and Compass, Justice, the bartender, and Jackie, they were fantastic, because we did trivia there, we hung out there. It's just a great vibe. So we found out that we could actually tip them, and we did. Overall, all said and done, roughly spent about $6,200 on this cruise, which is more than we normally spend when my wife and I go. But it was worth it. So what we learned from this cruise, albeit it's our 9th Disney cruise, and guess what? You always learn something new. So I got 5 things here that we learned. 1, expect to spend at least 25% more than you budgeted for onboard spending. It happens. You say, oh, I'm only going to spend this much money. We're going to do this activity, this, and this. There's things to buy in the ship. Things crop up. Number 2, and this was in my short video that I put out the other day. Bring a Disney Resort reusable plastic mug. That's a game changer, especially when they have unlimited, drinks available, fountain drinks. You want to have something that you could keep going back, and it's not paper cups and things like that. It's a game changer. Bring one. I recommend you bring one. Number 3, when you can get when you go to the island or you're on the ship, you can get the drink package. You can buy 5 beers for $6, or you can get water like they sell on the island and all that. A Disney Key. This is the bag. Okay. Well, we've been on 9 cruises. We have about 8 of those. Come to find out, you can bring that bag back on the next cruise you go on. Didn't know it. I finally asked the guy, I said, hey, we already have 8 of them. He goes, well, you should have brought the one from last time. I'm like, okay, guy, thank you. But that's a great tip. So if you've been on the cruise before, bring that bag, and then you could buy the beer package or the water or whatever you're doing, and you get the cooler. It's a cooler, right? Basically, and these are great for at home too. And this is not I'm not paid by Disney to give endorsements. I mean, this is spot on. And in my last short, dads, husbands, guys, right? If you have things planned like wine tasting at Palo or Palo brunch or dinner at Palo, bring a pair of pants and a nice shirt. I brought the nice shirt, but I didn't bring the pants. I don't know what I was thinking, but as I stated in my previous short, Disney, they had pants. I mean, they weren't the greatest pants in the world, but they were passable, and they had my size, and I'm a big guy. So, hey, it was great. And the last tip I'm going to give you, and, you know, whether it's your first cruise or you've been cruising for a long time like my wife and I, remember, when you're on the ship, okay, you're spending money, okay? It's easy to forget when you're not taking out your wallet or going in your handbag and taking out your credit card or your cash, right? It's easy to charge to the room, and, you know, day 2, day 3, and when they're charging, you know, your card for what's to the stateroom, it adds up pretty quick. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but this cruise, I was really paying attention to it. Normally, I never pay attention to it when we cruise, but I just, for some reason, I did. And I'll tell you, keep an eye on it, because the spending can get up there pretty quick. And it's okay. I mean, if there's something you want to buy, like, you know, this cruise, you know, we normally buy the hats, as I told you a few minutes ago. Oh, my wife found me a Disney sweatshirt, you know, that fit me. Great. And it was a great item. We picked it up, you know, things like that. I mean, unexpected. We weren't planning on buying that, and that happens. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up with a few things. Well, actually, I got about 5 things, and I have my trusty clipboard because I wrote things down, and you can't cover everything on on your cruise. I mean, it would be like probably a 2-day video, albeit it would be a great video. I want to say, in conclusion, our trip was great, and the staff took care of us as always. We always have a great time on Disney, okay? And you make it on this ship how you want to do it. You know, like this cruise, we didn't get off at the Nassau, or we didn't get off at Disney Key, and we had the whole ship to ourselves on those days. And it was awesome. It was so relaxing, right? We didn't have the kids with us. Our kids are in college, so they don't want to come on Disney anymore, right? But, you know, there's a lot of hidden gems on the ship. You don't need to get off. That's just our opinion. Number 2, my tips that I just presented to you are based on my wife and I cruising on Disney 9 times already. All right. Not all, you know, I'm not the Disney cruise, guy who has all the knowledge, right? I'm just trying to give you a few, pointers that something you think about when you're booking your Disney cruise. And, you know, even for you longtime cruisers like us, yeah, you learn something new every cruise. You really do. I can go on about, tips and suggestions, and I probably I'll put something else out there, about Disney Cruise Lines and Wish, the tips, whatever, right? But, this video is basically, just kind of like a recap, a debrief on, our recent cruise last week. And I'm looking at my notes here, so apologies. So I hope that what I've talked about gives you some help and assistance. I wish that I had someone kind of give me some pointers when my wife and I started cruising, and not just on Disney but other ships, right? I would love to hear comments from you guys, like with any questions you have. Like, I don't have all the answers, but maybe you got a question that you're booking your cruise and you got a question about some type of activity or excursions off the boat, things like that, or something on the boat. And like, more than happy to help. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and if you made it this far, please do me a favor. We're growing this channel. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.